If one had to define Tapas and Beijos in a single sentence, it would be this. It's the sound of laughter echoing through heartbreak. In Cuando o ex bait a porta, that laughter becomes almost philosophical, a survival mechanism for characters who have long stopped believing in cinematic love stories, but who keep performing them anyway. The episode doesn't just tell a story about an ex-boyfriend returning. It stages an emotional experiment on what happens when humor meets vulnerability. From the very first frame, the pacing is different. The shop feels quieter, the light gentler, and Swaley's movements slower, as if the show itself is bracing for something inevitable. The arrival of the ex isn't treated as a twist, but as a natural recurrence, like an old song returning to the radio. This choice gives the narrative a cyclical rhythm, reminding us that in Tapas and Beijos, life is never linear. It loops, stumbles, repeats, and forgives itself. The beauty of this episode lies in its emotional choreography. Every conversation between Swaley and Fatima becomes a duet, each line bouncing between empathy and mockery. Their friendship is both shield and mirror. They tease to protect, they joke to heal. When Swaley confesses that she doesn't even remember why the relationship ended, the silence that follows is more revealing than any dialogue. The director holds the shot just long enough to make us feel her confusion, that strange nostalgia for pain itself. Later, in a scene that could only exist in Brazilian television, the two friends end up at a bar where a live band plays bossa nova covers of pop songs. The lyrics float ironically over their conversation as they dissect love with clinical precision while pretending not to care. This mixture of cynicism and longing gives the episode a bittersweet texture. The ex, when he finally speaks his truth, seems less like a villain or a hero, and more like a symbol, a reminder that closure is rarely cinematic. I found myself thinking about how humor can be a form of therapy. The way Swaley turns every heartbreak into a punchline feels both courageous and tragic. She is laughing not because it's funny, but because it's the only way to survive. Tapas and Beijos has always celebrated this emotional realism, showing that resilience often wears the mask of comedy. One could argue that the entire show is a love letter to imperfection. Even the side characters like the clients and co-workers embody the beautiful chaos of daily life. Their eccentricities remind us that everyone is battling some version of the same longing. The final act of the episode is almost poetic in its simplicity. The ex leaves Fatima, closes the shop door, and Swaley stands there for a second, her hand on the knob caught between habit and freedom. She exhales, smiles faintly, and walks away. No tears, no declarations, just the quiet dignity of someone who has finally learned that not every knock deserves an answer. Watching it, I felt an unexpected wave of peace, as if the series had offered a small truth about growing up, that healing is not forgetting, but learning to coexist with memory. The genius of Tapas and Beijos is that it delivers such emotional complexity wrapped in laughter without ever losing its charm. Cuando ex bata porta is a perfect example of how comedy can hold heartbreak, gently turning pain into rhythm and routine into poetry.